Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBears Casino. Tommy Krysan alongside Ronnie Rance. TK coming to you live from over at Tremonti's Meat and Seafood. Yes, that liquor over his shoulder means meat and seafood over at Tremonti's. And I'm at an undisclosed location for real this time. And we're presented by the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame as well. Big weekend, by the way, TK, up in Natchitoches for the Christmas festival. The museum will be buzzing tomorrow. Lots of people, 40, 50,000 people downtown Natchitoches tomorrow for the parade, which starts at noon. They're going to have a 25-minute fireworks show later that evening at 6 o'clock. Bands all day long on the stages. The whole downtown area is like a winter wonderland. Everything's lit up. It's pretty incredible. If you've never been, you're looking for something to do this weekend, go to Natchitoches for the Christmas Festival Parade and the big extravaganza that's happening all day tomorrow. I will be there on the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame float. We've got a small little, about 12-person float decorated really good, thanks to Signs in a Day. And we're going to have Hollis, Jack Haynes, former Bass Pro, Bass Masters Classic champion, Louisiana Sports Hall of Famer. He and his family are going to be on there. Hollis Conway will be on there, former two-time Olympic medalist, high jumper from Lafayette for the Raging Cajuns, great guy. Him and his family are going to be on the float, so looking forward to that. All right, so a couple of big news and notes here in the Baton Rouge area. Isn't it nice, Tommy? All is well in Kim Mulkey land. She and Angel Reese have made up. It's kumbaya. Angel Reese returns to over 10,000 people at the PMAC last night. They knock off Virginia Tech, a very good team, a team they played in the Final Four last year, a ranked opponent, beat them handily. Reese and Mulkey are hugging and dancing after the game. I mean, like, wow, what a difference a couple of weeks makes.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. She played a decent game. Can't shoot free throws, but she played a decent game.
19 points, 9 rebounds. You're a tough critic. Go ahead.
Well, she had a lot of offensive boards, which, all teams want players to get offensive boards. That's a stat that doesn't get enough attention sometimes. But, Virginia Tech came out shooting lights out. I mean, they rushed out to a lead, and LSU just, kept doing what they had to do. Anisha Morrow and Michaela Williams were tremendous. And Reese contributed, but Haley Van Lith hit a couple of key shots, and then they got the lead and it kind of didn't look back. And that whole second half, they were just riding on that 15 to 20 point lead, and they ended up getting a win. Now, the Tigers take over a week off for exams, so it's good to have a really big win, national TV, big crowd, Kim Mulkey's 700th career win. Ronnie, no college basketball coach, men or women, has ever got to 700 wins quicker than Kim Mulkey did. So that's worth tooting the horn about that. She, in her press conference the other day, she claimed she didn't even know that. That's probably correct. I don't think she pays attention to things like that, especially when they got a lot of other things going on with this team. But it was a great win against a national TV, against a ranked opponent that you played in the Final Four last year. And now you go into a little bit of a 10-day break, clean up some exams and school stuff. And you got to feel good going into break with a big win like that.
What's impressive is LSU beat a very good Virginia Tech team. 4 of their 5 starters were in double digits, and Van Lith was not one of them. She did not have 10 points. If we're trying to be picky here, the concern is that they only played 7 players, and most of the starting 5 are having to go 80%, 90% of the game. The lack of depth that's there with a quit or a suspension, an injury, like it's that would be a concern moving forward. So they're going to have to really make sure people stay healthy and together. But that was incredible how it was negative a couple of days ago. We're hearing, I don't know if Kim Mulkey handled her press conferences absolutely the best. Some of her comments. Calling out some people, but again, I didn't see all the comments, so I don't know. But why would you be looking and watching? But anyway, it looked like there was trouble in La La Land. I personally, if you'd have put a gun to my head a couple of days ago before the press conference when we knew she was coming back to play against Virginia Tech, I would have thought Angel Reese was not going to play for LSU this year. But cooler heads prevailed. She came around. We don't know why, what happened, what those discussions were. We probably never will, or will leak out over time. But impressive that they went from potentially having a devastating injury overseas when they were in last week, having Pools doesn't look like she's not with the team anymore. That's the report. And Angel Reese looks like she might not be with the team anymore, which would have been catastrophic. Let's face it, from a national championship type of chance, which is what this team is built for, a run to the national championship again. Now she's back. Everything seems great. A big win, 10,000 people. It's as if it never happened.
Well, and losing the Smith girl for the season with a tore up knee, that leads to what you were talking about. They only played 7 people. They're gonna have to get a couple of other people on that bench to step it up during this break and during the Christmas holidays, because conference play is a month away basically. So yeah, they're gonna have to do that. But who better to handle that than Kim Mulkey? Who we just got to defer to her. I watched her press conference the other day. I watched all 32 minutes of it. And, I'm like you. A few things could have been said differently, in my opinion. But hell, she's the coach. You do it, handle it the way she wants, and people can make their own decisions and conclusions on whether she was a little too rough on the edge. That's up to everybody to decide, including all of the members of the media. And, she called out a couple of people. And I think I know who she was talking about, but I'm not certain, so I'm not going to say. But, hey, big win to roll into the break. They don't play until like December 10th against Louisiana Tech.
LSU men's basketball, we're all pulling for the men. We'd love to see them be anywhere near half as good as the women are from a standpoint of success. They went a 4-point game, turned into a blowout in Syracuse against not really a great Syracuse team a few nights ago. They're back home tonight in the PMAC against your alma mater. And this is strange, Tommy. I mean, I'm not a giant basketball bettor. And if I was a bettor, I would know why. But at 12:30 at night last night, the Southeastern Lions were a 13.5-point dog against LSU. As we're getting ready to go here at 9:30 this morning, Southeastern is a 16.5-point dog to LSU. It jumped up 3 points when the sunshine came up. That's a ton. And if you dig in on LSU, right, we've been saying this for a couple of years. They don't really cover as often as you think, whether they're the favorite or whether they're the dog. They don't really cover that often. So what do? I had bet the 13.5 on Southeastern because I'm sticking with my plan, and I'm loading up on the 16.5 as well. So we will see. This is an LSU team that lost to Nichols at home. That has played some teams close that were name brands, but and won it obviously against Wake Forest, which was a name brand team, although they're not very good. But at the same time has struggled against the mediocre squad. So we'll see.
We're going to have to see what happens tonight over there in the PMAC. Won't be 10,000 people in there, but hey, they're going to line up and tip off and play. So we'll be curious to see exactly what happens.
All right, so we move on from LSU men's basketball. Pelicans, by the way, in action. Do you have a take on this game tonight? I mean, I don't know if Wembyani's going to play or not, but San Antonio's coming to town, and the line is gigantic.
Well, the Spurs are 3-15. That might be could be the worst record in the NBA. I didn't look at the whole standings. Pelicans, a game over 500 at 10-9, laying 12.5 at home. That's a big number for an NBA game. I don't care who's playing. So, I don't know. I think you'd have to go softly on that. And the thing with the Pelicans, they're supposed to be getting Murphy back. You always got to find out who's playing and who's not playing. All this load management stuff, which I think is a bunch of crap. But, if you're going to make a bet on the Pelicans or any NBA game, I know on the Score app, which is one of my favorite apps, you can get an injury report on there as to who's, might be out and who might be questionable. You got to factor that in, especially when the Pelicans are laying 12.5. That's a big number, even though they are home.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the NBA that makes it tough, Tommy, I almost feel like it needs to be a game time decision, maybe not a game, like an hour before. You need to know who's warming up. You need to know who's dressed. You need to know who's playing, because they rest so many people that it just makes it difficult to bet because then you place, I mean, that happened to me earlier this year. Pelicans want a little bit of a roll, place the bet, then you find out, it was the last minute Zion didn't play. Zion's not going to play, and so that's where I would be at in this game. Is I'd want to see what San Antonio and the Pels are going to both put on the floor before you can lock in.
Well, the way to handle that, and I got a good friend who loves to live bet. Okay, he rarely bets, especially in the NBA, rarely bets a game before it starts. So, in case in point would be Pelicans and Spurs play tonight. Now you can see the box score, the running box score. You know who started, you know who is playing, and then the line moves around a good bit depending on the flow of the game. But that might be the way. Like Pelicans are 12.5-point favorite. Okay, if the Williams is not playing and the Spurs come out hot and they get ahead, I mean, you might get the Pelicans -3 or 4 or 5. So live bet is the option that I think a lot of people choose in the NBA because of what you just said, Ronnie. That you got to know more information before you can lay down that bet, especially if you bet more than $20 or so.
This is a bizarre story that happened in the world of college football. The bowls are going to get announced on Sunday. We'll find out 11 a.m. on 11 a.m. this Sunday is when we'll find out about the college football playoffs, who's going to make it. And then from there, the Super Six and all the New Year's Day 6 and all that stuff. We'll know Sunday midday on where all the bowls are and who's playing who. A lot of speculation that LSU and Notre Dame will be playing down in Tampa. The Raging Cajuns, who qualified for a bowl by virtue of knocking off ULM, finished 6-6 this year. And this is the sad thing about the Raging Cajuns. And the Rance family's a big supporter of the Raging Cajuns. My brother is on the RCAF board. He's probably one of the top 20 donors over there and all that kind of stuff. Is whether they win 6 games and just eke into being bowl eligible, or whether they win 10 games, they pretty much go to the same bowl. And that is the New Orleans Bowl. Tell us what just happened, Tommy.
Well, apparently Ticketmaster leaked out, hey, you can buy your tickets for the Raging Cajuns against Jacksonville State on Saturday, December 16th, and then realized they weren't supposed to make that thing live yet, pulled it down. Well, Brett McMurphy, who's one of the national college football writers, so I read a lot of his stuff. I think he does a very good job. He's the one that reported it, so obviously it came out there. But you know what, Ryan? The Raging Cajun fans, they know the way to the dome. They see like what they know because they go there so often. They know what section they want to sit in. Right, if you and I are going to the Astro game, we're like, you got to look it up. Okay, where is section 105? Where are my seats? These Raging Cajun fans, they know what section they want in the dome because they've made that trip quite a few times. And I like the New Orleans Bowl. It's great for the city of New Orleans. Great for college football. It comes right after all the high school championships. So, and to have the Raging Cajuns in there, a lot of the people will make that trip from Lafayette to New Orleans.
How long do we know? You saw the article. Did it say how long it was up for? Like it was 5 minutes?
Briefly was the word they used. It wasn't up long, but it's all over Twitter that it went up. So, it's not something I concocted or that I didn't see. I didn't look at Ticketmaster, I can tell you that. So we'll have to see if, in fact, that ends up being the case Sunday. Maybe, we talked the other day, Ronnie, sometimes these type bowls, the New Orleans Bowl and some of those other bowls that are played earlier in December, that all leaks out tomorrow a lot of times because, Jacksonville State and the Raging Cajuns are not playing this weekend. And, the Bulls wanting to get the teams identified right away so they can sell tickets and people can make travel plans, whatever, not just the New Orleans Bowl, but all of them at that level. So, we'll see what happens.
What's interesting is that, like I said, this is probably the best thing that could happen for the New Orleans Bowl because now people are actually talking about the New Orleans Bowl and talking about UL versus Jacksonville State because nobody else outside of those two fan bases cares. But now they have the spotlight, whether it be for 5 minutes or 15 minutes. They've got the spotlight nationally. There's articles written. People know that there's a New Orleans Bowl and that the Raging Cajuns are playing the Gamecocks. 82 teams are going to play in bowl games this year. I mean, that's just absurd. 41 bowl games. That's just ridiculous.
Well, but I'm going to take the other side of that, Ronnie. Like the Raging Cajuns and Jacksonville State, they're the Gamecocks, by the way. Those teams want those 14 or 15 practices Now that's a little less with the Raging Cajuns because they're going to play on the 16th. But I think every coach would say, yeah, we want those extra practices. It'll make us better. We learn about another guy or two that we want to find something out about. That's the little silver lining, because I remember Jerry DiNardo pointing this out to me years ago. That team that goes to 4 bowl games, this is before everybody started leaving early in the transfer portal, he said that's an extra 45 to 50 practices, by the time when that kid becomes a senior. And that makes a difference when you have that many practices on them teams that go to bowl games every single year against that team that's, like Tulane used to be, the flash in the pan. They went 1 year, then they'll go back to 12 years. But it's all part of the dynamic and, coaching carousels full speed ahead. Max Johnson now going to North Carolina, but he'll have to sit out. There's a lot of activity already in the transfer portal. The quarterback that was at Clemson, Ukulele or whatever, then went to Oregon State. He's looking for another school. He's in the portal or might go to the draft. Man, it's a headache to keep up with the college football stuff these days. Look, Ryan, it's a headache for you and me. Imagine for Brian Kelly and Nick and Lane Kiffin and these people. Imagine the headache they have with the portal and it's just unbelievable.
Ukulele.
I don't even know if that's how you correctly say his name.
Names are not your specialty.
Well, I don't know. Hey,
that's like in the Broadway musical. Book of Mormon, which was in Lafayette a few days ago, was in Baton Rouge a few nights ago. There's these Mormon missionaries go to Africa, and it's a comedy, and they meet this girl, and he can't pronounce her name, and he calls her a different name every single time. One time it's like Nephrodite, the necrophilia. He just keeps calling her different names. That's gonna be you. All right.
Well, maybe I should be in a Broadway musical. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no. That baritone's not gonna play. All right, let's talk a little bit about real quick. You got 3 picks. Give me 3 picks for the weekend, including Saints Lions.
Oh, okay. 3 picks for the weekend. Saints are getting 4.5 now. It's up just a little bit. Lions are a good road team. Saints are not a good home team. I like the Lions laying the 4.5 in this game.
So you just wait for the white flag season.
My bet of the weekend is this Tulane minus 3.5. SMU's got to turn to a backup quarterback. Tulane, we know the story. The only game they lost was to Ole Miss, who won 10 games, and they didn't have Michael Pratt at quarterback. That game ended at half. So I really like Tulane. And I got 2 underdogs for everybody, Ronnie. I like Oklahoma State plus 14.5 against Texas. Texas might win, but I think Oklahoma State will hang in there. And here's my surprise pick for you, Ronnie. You ready for this?
All right.
I like Alabama plus 5.5 against Georgia. I like Bama plus 5.5 against Georgia. And here's why. This is Nick Saban's best coaching job. With all the great teams he had at Bama, he had a great team at LSU a long time ago. This team, they benched Jalen Milroe 10 weeks ago. He went to the bench, tried 2 other guys before they went back to him. The progression that he has made, and not just because of the miracle pass against Auburn, but the progression he has made through this schedule and become a good, solid Alabama quarterback, it's been unbelievable. I'm not saying Georgia won't win by a field goal or a late score, to take a short lead. A little hunch. I like Bama plus 5.5. Bama's 7-2 last 9 times they played Georgia. Now, they lost the national championship game a couple of years ago, but hey, Kirby Smart's a great coach. Georgia's a great team. They hadn't lost in a long time. But just a crazy hunch. I like Bama plus 5.5.
Well, I mean, it's not as bizarre as it seems, right? I mean, Georgia has looked mortal at times this year, and Nick Saban's 10-1 in SEC championship games. They're 7-2 against Georgia. I mean, like the numbers are there to make to. I'd put some money on Oklahoma State too. I got them at 15 or 15.5 yesterday. I like Oklahoma State too to cover against Texas. But a good little nugget right there. SMU backup quarterback, huh?
Yeah. So Green Wave at home should have a big crowd. Weather's gonna be a little shaky all weekend in South Louisiana, but Willie Fritz, the job he's done, you can't say enough good things about the job he's done. Michael Pratt's a very good quarterback. They got a good running back. They play hard-nosed football. They're well coached, and You know,
This
I
will be
just like the Green Bay.
home game.
Yeah, yeah. And again, they lay in 3.5. They win the game. They're going to be in a New Year's Six bowl game for the second year in a row. Let that sink in. Tulane, New Year's bowl game 2 years in a row. No one would have dreamed that 4 or 5 years ago.
No. 4 or 5 years ago, you'd have laughed, said, what kind of hurricane at Pato's are you drinking?
You'd have thought I grabbed one of these bottles of whiskey behind me at Tremonti's and finished it off.
By the way, Michael Pratt expected that he'll go into the transfer portal after the game and be like the number 1 quarterback in the country. At the Nebraska coach at his press conference a couple of days ago, he said the going rate for just a good quarterback in the transfer portal is $1 million to $2 million, and that some people are making $5, $6, $7 million. Michael Pratt, and look, my understanding from people close to the program is that this conversation took place before the season. Hey, come back for another year, Willie Fritz. Let's roll it. We're gonna have a good team, and then go in the transfer portal as a grad transfer. We're fine. You're gonna go get your money. Like, you know, this was all kumbaya. Like, Tulane knows they can't give him $3-4 million to stay. You go get what you can. And so my understanding is that before the season, he had the blessing to do this. This was going to be a 1-year deal. And then he was going off to be the number 1 quarterback in the transfer portal.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. They play tomorrow afternoon, 3:00 kick at Yeoman Stadium.
All right. For Tommy Krysan, I'm Ronnie Rance. TK on the way out. Tell us about Tremonti's.
Well, they got the gift boxes and the gift cards, any denomination. The gift box can be whatever you want. You want a couple of steaks today, you want some sausage, bottle of wine, whatever you want. They will customize a gift box for you to give to your employees, your neighbors, your family, your friends, and of course the gift cards in any denomination. They can cater all your parties, large group or small group. The prime rib, that's the special at Christmas. I've been getting it for many years here. You can get a half a prime rib or you can get the whole thing if you got a large group of people, and it's about as good as it's going to get. Of course, turkey and ham, bourbon, wine, tequila, vodka, everything you need. Tremonti's Meat and Seafood on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. We want you to check them out. And like I said, the gift boxes and the gift cards, really a big thing here at Tremonti's. Hey, don't forget tomorrow morning, Sports Shorts Radio, 10 a.m. to 12 noon on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Hunter McCann and I will be at Calandro's on Perkins Road, right by Perkins and Segan. Ronnie Rance will be on the phone. Joel Davis will be on the phone. We'll have some other good stuff for you as well. Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, 104.5 ESPN Radio Baton Rouge. As always, we ask you to like and share this show. That's important. It helps us, helps the sponsors, helps our marketing partners. Like and share this show, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you're watching it. We want you to like and share this show. And as always, we're presented by the LeBears Casino and Hotel in Baton Rouge, the Sportsbook, the ESPN Bet. You can bet on all the Saints, the NFL, the NBA, LSU, college football. Don't forget the Edge Lounge, live entertainment on the weekends in the back left corner of the casino floor at the LeBears Casino. On behalf of Ronnie Rance, I'm Tommy Krysan. We hope you have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you again real soon. Sports Shorts Radio tomorrow and Sports Shorts Daily back Monday morning at 9:30 from Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. Have a great day, everyone.